Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, the host of We Need to Talk with Chris Godinez. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. If you feel you need a therapist, please go to Google, type in therapy, your city, Psychology Today will pop up, click on that, and it will have all of the therapists in your area. Also, the views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other therapist for that damn matter. Boom, shakalaka. Okay, getting a couple of things out of the way, some announcements. I have got a book signing. Hello, book signing. March 23rd in Tempe, Arizona at Changing Hands Bookstore. So that is a Friday night. It is at 7 o'clock. I will be doing an hour lecture. Talking about the book and, well, talking about why people don't understand and how to help family members understand what the heck you've been through. Hey guys. So that is March 23rd, Tempe, Arizona at Changing Hands Bookstore. So please come out and say hi, buy a book, let me sign it, all that sort of good stuff. Ask your questions, because what I plan on doing is they give you an hour and a half. And what I thought I would do is I would do like 45 minutes of just, maybe a half an hour or less of actual, talking about the book and things like that. And then what I want to do is get questions. Ask me your questions, because that's the best way to teach, and that is the best way to learn, is if you've got a question, I can guarantee you there are other people out there that have the same question, but they're too afraid to speak up. So come to Changing Hands Bookstore, March 23rd at 7 p.m. It is a Friday night. I'll be there from 7 o'clock until 8:30. Last time I was there when I did my first book, I was actually there until 9. So come on out, come say hi, come buy a book, ask a question, whatever. Even if you've already bought a book, come on out and then, ask a question that you want to have answered, because I'll be there and I'll answer questions. So I'll probably do about half an hour, 45 minutes of just lecturing, and then the rest of the time I want to answer your guys' questions, because that's what I do. Okay, cool. Will the event be recorded? No, it will not, because it is at Changing Hands Bookstore. So it's just going to be a live, appearance, I guess, is the this is all brand new to me. So yeah, it's just gonna be a live appearance and that. So Shannon, you're saying that you wish you could be there. You're in New Jersey. So what I'm going to try to do is start setting stuff up for this summer on the northern East Coast is my evil plan, because I want to get the hell out of Phoenix, because it's going to be 100 and oh my God, okay, so it's the 1st of February here, right? It is going to be 80 degrees today. It's been 80 degrees for the last week, and it's supposed to be just getting hotter. So yeah, I'm going to try to set up stuff on the East Coast in the northern part, because what I'd like to do is tour the northern part in the summertime, do the southern part of the States in the wintertime, and eventually I'd like to get over to Europe, because I'm getting people from Ireland, England, Scotland, Wales, France, Italy, et cetera, saying, please come, please come, please come. And I'm like, ow, no, stop. So yeah, touring? Oh, okay. I have no problem with that. I love to tour. I love to travel. Okay, so that's the announcement. So March 23rd, Changing Hands Bookstore, 7 p.m. That's a Friday night. A book signing and a lecture, answering questions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yes, I will do Los Angeles. I will. That will happen. Getting stuff together, because like I said, this is it's all brand new. So, okay. So where was I going? Oh, dear God. Okay, Changing Hands Bookstores. I will be doing a Yuma book signing sometime in May, sometime around the 18th is what I know. I don't know for sure what the date is on the book signing in Yuma, because I will be doing the keynote lecture for a domestic violence shelter or organization there, some sort of mental health organization in Yuma. And then they want me to do a book signing as well. So I will be also coming to Yuma. I've got my book at Antigone Bookstore in Tucson. All right, and they're holding off on a book signing because they want to see how many books sell. So if you're in Tucson, go to Antigone Bookstore, buy a book, ask for my book. All right, that's enough of my personal whoring. Okay, so today's topic is the Valentine Hoover, or really any Hoover. And the reason why is because Hoovers happen anytime, they do, but particularly around holidays and around birthdays, anniversaries, et cetera, things that are emotional to the target of abuse. This is when the abuser is going to really zero in and try to do a Hoover, try to do a, suckering you back in. So it's called Oh my God, you said it's 5 degrees where you are? What the no, 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 no. I see, this is why I'm touring the northern parts in the summertime and the southern parts in the wintertime, because I don't do extreme hot or cold. So anyway, sorry, 5 degrees, Jesus Christ. All right, sorry. Okay, squirrel. Okay, a little ADD here. All right, so the Hoover happens because it's called a Hoover because it's named after the vacuum cleaner, the Hoover, you know, you're sucking you back in. Hoovers happen any time of year, but they're more likely to happen around holidays, anniversaries, birthdays, et cetera, 3 degrees, Jesus Christ. So that type of thing. So Valentine's Day is a landmine for people who have been in an abusive relationship. Why? Well, because society puts the weirdest pressure on Valentine's Day ever anyway. And when you've got an abuser, they're going to use that whole shush. Hey, 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 I'm talking here. Shush, Scotty. I'm sure that's a Scotty bark. Okay. Sorry. Dogs. They're going to use that whole Hallmark holiday, you know, K jeweler, you know, every kiss begins with K, you know, sentimentality thing to just sucker you back in. So this is why Valentine's Day, basically hey, slamming doors from where was I? Brain gone. From Halloween to about Valentine's Day, maybe a little after. That's the main hoovering time of frame for these bastards, because this is when all of the holidays are happening. This is when all of the magic was happening. This is when they love bombed you. This is when, you know, that first Christmas or that first Halloween or that first Thanksgiving or that first New Year's or that first Valentine's Day. That's when they were love bombing you, love bombing you, love bombing you. My dog is hoovering me. No, he's just being my dog. So yeah, it's when the emotions are the rawest. It's when the emotions are the highest. It's when you're walking down memory lane. And that is when it's hugely dangerous for targets of abuse. Because if we have not, and I'm going to say this until the cows come home and even afterwards, if we have not worked on that original wound, if we have not healed that caregiver issue, if the inner child is the one that's running the show instead of the adult you're going to get sucked right back in with the Hoover. So what they do is they make you not think about, well, they don't make you can't make anybody do anything, but they create the ambiance that makes it easier for you to not remember the abuse. So abuse amnesia. So in other words, they do the whole, oh baby, you remember when we walked along the Seine and we did this and we did it in Paris, whatever. But you know what I mean? It's like, you know, oh baby, do you remember when we went to the ocean, or when we did this, or when we, you know, had dinner here, or we, you know, the romance. And so they're suckering you back in with when it was good, when they were love bombing you. So this is a very dangerous time of year. It's like, and Valentine's Day has got all of that emotionality with it. I hate Valentine's Day. I do. I always have. I'm such a hippie, because it's like, I fucking hate Hallmark holidays because it puts too much pressure on the couples that are together. Because I mean, dear God, you've got all this, you know, oh, it has to be the most romantic day of the year. Okay. It's a day. How are you treating them the rest of the year? That's my question. And that's always my question. It's like, you know, it shouldn't be one day a year that you treat somebody with romance. It should be every day of the year. Are you being a couple? Are you communicating? Are you being romantic? Are you speaking the other person's love language? And I'm going to talk about that in another video, because I want to talk about healthy relationships, because as people move through coming out of an abusive relationship, their picker's broken. They don't know what a healthy relationship looks like. And I'm going to talk about that in a future video, not this one. But okay, so it is a way to get you to forget the past. It is a way to make you relive the love bombing phase and you know, go, oh God, remember when, and oh, wasn't that great, and oh gee, I really miss this kind of thing. So, and again, what they're doing is they are speaking to us as an addict. We're an addict, man. We're going, oh yeah, I remember that fix. Oh God, yeah. Oh, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Yeah, and that's the inner child. That's the inner child going, oh, I want that fix. I want that fix. I want that fix. Well, you might get it for a very small amount of time when they're hoovering you back, and they may love bomb you for maybe a month, maybe if you're lucky. And then it's going to go right back into the abuse, and it's probably going to be worse than it was before, because how dare you leave them? So this is another thing I wanted to talk about. Okay, God, whoa, lots of stuff. Hold on. Let me make sure I caught everything. 3 degrees. Oh God, no. 5 degree heat wave. Hey, Chris. Hey, Beth. Yay, Tampa. Oh yeah, I want to go to Tampa. I want to go to Key West. Oh God, I love Key West. Oh my God, the Victorians there are amazing. I have a thing for Victorians. All right, New York City can be very hot and humid. Make sure I have an AC. Yes, absolutely. The fear of the Hoover is persistent. It's the worst remaining part of abuse now that we are no non-contact with my mother. Okay, yeah, so I want to make very clear. Hoovering is not just for romantic. It's not just for romantic partners anymore. It's not just about romance. It's not just about hoovering back a romantic partner. It's hoovering back kids. It's hoovering back family members. It's hoovering back friends. It's hoovering back whoever left the narcissist, whoever left the abuser, whoever finally figured it the fuck out and went, oh shit, this is not good for me. I'm gonna go no contact. Hello. So it's about any family member, any friend, any, anything, kid relationship with a parent. So this is also the time of year when parents do this bullshit as well. So if you've got a toxic parent, if you've got a toxic mother-in-law, toxic father-in-law, toxic mother, toxic father, toxic grandparents, toxic whatever, fill in the blank, this is the time of year where they work that, emotional wound, because romance is in the air and you're supposed to be all lovey-dovey and forgive and blah, 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 blah. So, all right. The Hoover happens. So when does the Hoover happen? That's what everybody always asks me. They're like, well, when can I expect them to Hoover? Anytime. It could be right after the breakup. It could be 2 weeks after the breakup. It could be a month. It could be a year. It could be 10 years. I had one client that came in and said, holy crap, you're not going to believe this, but 20 years down the line, I get a freaking phone call from them. And I'm like, what? So yeah, they do that. Whenever the domestic partner, the parent, the friend, whoever was the narcissist, whoever was the abuser, runs out of narcissistic supply, their cocaine, they will call a previous supply in order to get the hit again. And if they've run out of everybody else, and this does not surprise me, they will call somebody from 20 years ago. They'll get a hold of somebody that they dated, back in high school. They'll get a hold of somebody they dated or married, when they were in their 20s. They haven't spoken to them in 30 years. Yeah, absolutely. Because they're looking for that narcissistic supply. So the Hoover can happen at any goddamn time. And that really sucks ass, because then you and me as a target are sitting here going, shit. It's like, do I answer this phone call? Do I recognize this number? Do I respond to this text? What the fuck? Yeah. So basically what it is you block them, block. You just block on social media, block on everything. Do not allow them in, and you just don't answer. And that's the hardest thing, because the addict in you, the one that's used to that intermittent positive rewards that they always gave, that I love you, I hate you, I love you, I hate you, I love you, I hate you thing. Man, that little inner child wants that approval so bad, and they are going to be like, but I want to respond, but I need to, but they're remorseful. They're this, they're that. No, they're not. No, they're not. They are abso-fucking-lutely not. They are pretending to be remorseful. And here's how you know. If you love somebody, you do not treat them like shit. Period. You don't. You do not abuse. You do not harm. You do not do the things that abusers do. And they don't have remorse. And you know how you know? How many times you've been through this? How many times have they hoovered you back? How many times have they said, I'll never do it again? And they did. How many times? Hello? Stop, please. You're worth more than that. Stop. They will not change. Leopards do not change their spots. They don't. Abusers do not change. Now, targets of abuse who have been abused by an abuser, who have picked up fleas, yes, they can change. Abso-fucking-lutely. But if the abuser, you find the source. Who's the source? Is it the target of abuse, or is it the abuser that's forcing the target of abuse to behave in heinous ways? The target of abuse can come out of it. But the abuser themselves, the one who's orchestrating everything, fuck that shit. They don't change. They are evil to the core, and they do not get better. So Valentine's Day is a great day for them to, or the time around Valentine's Day is a great day for them to try to hoover. The holidays are a great day for them to hoover because they use the whole Christmas, forgiving, yada, yada, yada. You should forgive me. It's Christmas, blah, blah, blah. Oh, it's a new year, a new leaf, blah, blah, blah. They do this all the time. Okay, hang on. We got some more questions. This is why I changed my number. 2 years of stalking and harassment and hoovering, but not to be nice, only to fight or try to upset me. Yeah, generally it's weird. So this is what I started to say. It depends on how the relationship ended. If you were the one that discarded them, that's generally when they do the obsessive X syndrome thing. So I've talked about this in previous videos where they obsessively stalk, like obsessively watch what you're doing and try to stalk you on social media and try to get into your Facebook page and try to change your password and try to do this and try to do that and try to do all sorts of things. You just keep reporting it, keep reporting it, keep reporting it, keep reporting it, like I had to do today. Somebody tried to change my password and I'm like, not today, Satan. So yeah, so you just do that. You keep doing what you're doing and you do not respond. So they obsess. So if you left them, they obsess. Why? Because you won. It's all about the winning to them. Their little egos, and when I say little, I mean like the size of Mars, cannot handle losing. Because to them, life is a win-lose proposition. There's no in between. There's no black or white, or there's no gray. It's always black and white. So for them, because remember, they've got disordered thinking. So in their thoughts, it's like a win-lose, and I have to win at any cost. And I do mean any cost. And they will do things that will destroy them. That's the thing that's amazing. So yeah, they will turn to stalking. They will stalk your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, your everything. That's what I'm saying. Make sure your security stuff is tight so that you do get emails saying, hey, some asshole tried to change your password. You know what I'm saying? So make sure it's a two-step process so that they can never get to it. And they do. They want to shut you down. They want to scare you. They want to intimidate you. They want to, pretend that they've got all this power, and they don't. They think they do, but they don't. So yeah, if you've left them, they will come unglued and start stalking you or heavy hoovering you to try to get you back. And they're not doing it because they miss you. And this is what fucks with the minds of a lot of survivors of abuse, because they've left this person, they've said, oh, that's it, I'm done. And now all of a sudden this person is like trying so hard to either punish them for leaving, like the stalking and the trying to get into their Facebook and, messing with their emails, blah, 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 blah. Or they're trying to do the hoover. So, oh, baby, I've changed. Oh, baby doll, I'm different. Oh, it's going to be different this time. Oh, I have changed, and it's bullshit. And the reason they want you back is so that they can get you back so that they can be the ones to leave you. How fucked up is that? That is what abusers do, is because they can't stand losing. They can't. Oh my God, I just heard a Sting song in my head. Wow. Anyway, he had a song a long time ago, I Can't Stand Losing You, because Sting. Anyway, happy thought. I'm back now. Okay, so anyway, that's what they do, is because if you've left them, they can't stand that. So they want to hoover you back so that they can get you back, loving them, get invested in the relationship again, so that they can then discard you and be the one in control, because it's all about power and control for them. It's not about the love, guys, because love is not about power and control. If it hurts, it is not love. If it's game playing, it's not love. If it's bullshit, it's not love. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. Okay, change number, 2 years of stalking. Yeah, trying to upset you, trying to stalk you, trying to intimidate you, trying to win. It's a win. The other one is if you left them there, they do that. If they leave you, they will have gone on to another supply, and they will do this thing. Well, they will post all these happy pictures. Look how happy I am with my new supply. Look how happy I am with this new person. Look how happy I am. Block them. Don't look at their Facebook. Don't look at their Instagram. Don't look at their Snapchat. Don't look at anything. Get them out of your life. Like, seriously, it's like, it doesn't matter. What does it matter that they found another supply? All it means is that they have moved on to somebody who is unaware of how narcissists work. It does not mean this new person is better than you. It does not mean that they're prettier, or funnier, or sexier, or handsomer, or better in bed, or anything else. All it means is they found a new supply. That's it. And they will use that, as a way to try to harm, hurt, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like, look at this person, look how fabulous they are. Look, I found a new supply and they're so much better than you, blah, blah, blah. Well, nobody cares. So, and don't care. You don't need to care. Gone. They've discarded you. Be done. Be done, honey. If they don't want you, you don't want them. Trust me on that one. So, so they will do that. And then the Hoovers are it's power and control. It's just about power and control. It has nothing to do with love. It has nothing to do with them missing you. But what it does have to do is with them working or playing on that addict, that little inner child that desperately wants that approval. So be aware of that. The reminiscence Hoover. Oh, remember when? Yeah, that's the dangerous one. Valentine's Day is an emotional way to make money. Yes, it is. It is an emotional landmine and that's what I started to talk about. So couples have this huge amount of pressure on them to have a perfect Valentine's Day, which is redonkulous. I mean, okay, relationships are hard enough without getting Hallmark cards and Kay Jewelers and everybody else involved in it. So it's like this thing about, you have to be perfect. You have to have this romantic day. You have to have this. You have to have that. Well, if you're a couple, there's all this pressure on you. If you're not a couple and you've broken up with an abuser and you're alone, all you can see are all these happy couples and all these damn commercials going, look how happy we are. Oh, we're getting engaged. Oh, we're having kids, or, whatever. And we make a bunch of decisions about us based on commercials. And based on a Hallmark holiday. It's not real, guys. I can guarantee you, most of the couples who go out and spend this ridiculous amount of money on Valentine's Day, if they're having to do that to show their partner how much they love them, I can guarantee you the relationship is probably not that good. So, because a healthy, normal couple does Valentine's Day every day. Every day. You appreciate and respect and love your partner every day. And you show them every day. And you speak their love language every day. If you're having to do it on one time of a year, Houston, you got a problem. So anyway, that is the truth. All right, laughing, had to go home from work on Friday because I got the stomach bug. Oh, I'm so sorry. Passed my ex-narc on the way. He waved at me like we were best friends. I was concentrating too hard on driving home without throwing up to wave my middle finger back. Actually, you know what? I think ignoring him was probably the best thing that you could have done, because they want a reaction. They don't care whether the reaction is positive or negative. They really, truly don't. So this is the crazy thing. It's like, if you've got a narc that is stalking you or making it clear that they see you, kind of thing, and they want to make damn sure you see them, the best thing you can do is ignore them. Look right through them. Give them the 10,000-mile stare like you don't even see them, because they can't stand it. Because again, it's the ego. The ego wants to be acknowledged, recognized, seen, validated that they are in power and in control. And, I think the best thing to do is to just 10,000-mile stare, keep going. So yeah, you basically ignoring them is the worst punishment you could possibly do to them, because narcissists are all about being seen and, respected and, acknowledged for the amazing person that they are. And it's like, no, sorry, you're out of my life. Have a nice day. Go fuck yourself. And I'm not going to say that. And I'm not going to flip you off, because I'm not going to give you the pleasure of knowing that you've gotten to me. Have a nice day. So that's really what it is. Okay. So the best thing you could have done was ignore him. Absolutely. Or her, or whatever. Because here's the thing, guys, and this is what I want to make very, very clear. Narcissists are not just guys. Narcissists can be females. Abusers, absolutely, can be females. It happens in same-sex couples. It happens in heterosexual couples. So you can have an abuser that's male. You can have an abuser that's female. Abuse is abuse is abuse is abuse is abuse, no matter where it is, no matter what sex you are, no matter what country you're in, no matter what culture you're in. It's like I said, the abusers, whether they are male or female, have a handbook, and they do the exact same thing. It's so funny, because I have people always going, oh my God, how did you know? How did you describe my exact situation? Because it's the same, no matter where in the world, no matter how old they are, no matter what sex they are. It is the same playbook. They say the same things. They say the same phrases. They do the exact same hoovers. They use the same exact words. They do the same kind of abuses. It is consistent around the globe. It is the weirdest thing ever on the face of the planet. And targets of abuse also have similar symptomology. That's why I'm hoping that in this next DSM, they are going to include narcissistic abuse survivor syndrome or abuse survivor syndrome. I don't give a frick what they call it, but they need to include it because there are symptoms that are exactly the same no matter who you are if you've been in abuse. It's like, it's the same. It's the same. So anyway, there's that. Where am I? I don't know if I can say that out loud, Emily. So basically what Emily's saying is that, you know, every day is Valentine's Day. Sex is great. You make sure to connect once a week, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I like that. That's good. Okay. Mother-in-law is using her role as power of attorney to hoover my husband. Unreal. Yeah, they will do that. So really dysfunctional families will use money as a power and control tool and to hoover people back in. Kids, spouses, cousins, aunts, uncles, wherever the money is, if the narc has control over that, they will use that, you know, here's the inheritance, here's the inheritance, here's the inheritance, to try to get the person to toe the line and come back into line with the abuser's worldview. Hold on just a second. This is my Knott's Berger Hill cup. There's a bed and breakfast up in Globe that's supposed to be haunted that I went to one time, and it was really, really cool. I don't think it's haunted, but it was a very cool little place to stay. Okay. Yes, so they do things like using death as a hoover. It's not just Valentine's that they use, and it's not just happy times that they use. They will use somebody being sick in the family. They will use somebody dying in the family. They will use the inheritance in the family. They'll use basically anything they can in order to try to sucker the person back into some sort of a relationship with them so that they, the narc, the abuser, has power and control over them. So yeah, that's a very good point. Oh, geez, I've been contacted after 23 years from a previous narcissist. Yeah, they do that, guys. They do that. And I think that's why it's kind of, how do I explain? It's kind of difficult because it's like, on the one hand, you're moving forward, right? And I don't want you to obsess about the exes always going, oh my God, when. But I think somewhere in the back of our minds, it is prudent to have, if this happens, when this happens, what am I going to do? Because it will happen. So in other words, to kind of gird your loins, as it were, to kind of prepare yourself that at some point your abusive ex is in fact going to contact you, and kind of, you know, okay, when this happens, I will fill in the blank. I will ignore them. I will not text them back. I will block them. I will whatever. So it is a matter of when, usually, not if. Very rarely do abusers just stop completely. The only time that ever happens is if they leave you, they found another supply, and that supply is giving them exactly what they need for a long period of time, and it goes until they die. And sometimes even with that, it's not enough. Like in the case of my dad and his ex-wife, they sent letters back and forth to each other for 45 years, and they were both married to other people. Go figure. So, you know, I mean, it depends on the level of narcissism. It depends on the malignancy. It depends on the ego. It depends on so many things. But yeah, expect it. Just expect it. And don't be surprised when it does happen, because they will try to hoover back. They will try to swoop in and, you know, oh baby, you know, things are different. I've learned so much. I understand that what I did was wrong, and blah, 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 bullshit. So bullshit. So yeah, yeah, they'll do it. They'll do it at some point. When their supply runs out, they'll come back. Or if they think you're in a low spot, like if they've heard from flying monkeys that you're not doing well, they'll swoop in and try to use your situation as a way to come back. You know, oh, I'm your crying shoulder. Come on, you know, talk to me, blah, 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 blah. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Do not fall for it. There's a poem that I used to read when I was a kid, and it was morbidly fascinating. It was called, "Welcome to my parlor," said the spider to the fly. That's what these people are. They're spiders, and we're flies. And we get suckered in by the pretty words that they say, and we get suckered in by the, oh baby, I've changed, or oh no, it'll be different this time, or oh da 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 da. And really what they want to do is they want to suck us dry. They want to kill us. They do. Why they are attracted to us is because we have empathy. We have real emotions. We feel, we love, we feel deeply, we love deeply. And they don't have that. They don't understand that, and they want that. And at the same time, they hate us for having something they don't. So they try to kill us, and they try to kill us emotionally with words. You're dumb, you're stupid, you're this, you're that, you're a loser, you're blah, 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 blah. Or they kill us by forcing us to do things that they enjoy, such as drinking too much or smoking too much or whatever. So yeah, they're basically out to kill us. Abso-fucking-lutely, you bet. All right, so where was I? Are all cluster Bs personality types? Yes, cluster Bs. Cluster Bs. Okay, so what we have is, where did I put my? I think it's in the other room. So in the DSM-5, there is the personality section, and there you've got cluster A, cluster B, and cluster C. You will find the abusers in cluster B. Okay, so all abusers fall into the cluster B section of it. Okay, so it's personality disorders like narcissism, histrionic, borderline. There's two more in the cluster B, and I cannot think of them. Cluster A is schizotypal, typal, and schizoaffective. Cluster C is OCD, avoidant, and look it up. Anyway, it's there. So the abusers generally fall into one of the three. They either fall into the narcissistic, they fall into the histrionic, or they fall into the borderline category. I suspect at some point histrionic is going to be rolled into borderline, because it's really, they start overlapping. They, once you move to so everything's on a spectrum. Everything is on a spectrum. So you got traits of over here, just traits of. It's kind of like, okay, they're a little weird. They've got some traits of this, a little bit of abandonment issues, maybe some raging. But then as you move further down the line, they start not just a little bit, they start really raging, truly trying to manipulate and control, start harming people. And the worst part of it is they start enjoying it. And they feel that their survival depends on them being in control all the time. So then you start getting the dark triad. So the dark triad is narcopath. Well, yes, they are. But you get, hello, my brain is really gone today. Narcissism, Machiavellianism, which is the control freak, have to be in control, have to be in control, have to be in control. And then the psychopathy, the psychopath, crazy narcopaths. So those are the ones that manipulate and control and are always thinking, how can I isolate this person? How can I get this person away from them? What game can I play to do this? How can I get my way? How do I? It's always a game for them. It's always a game. There's no real with them at all. It's all games. It's all a chess game. So yes, they are all the abusers all fall generally into the cluster Bs. Schizotypal and schizoaffective are aspects of schizophrenia. So it's not full-blown schizophrenia, but they have aspects of it. So it is kind of a personality disorder. Those generally don't abuse because they're hearing voices and they're dealing with weird thoughts and weird ways of doing things, weird ways of dressing, wearing heavy winter clothes in the summer, wearing summer clothes in the winter, thinking, making connections that are not there. Oh, this person wore a red sweater, so therefore they are telling me that they want me to meet them and go out with them. Those are the kind of thoughts that those two have. They can become stalkers, usually not though, but occasionally that happens. So the cluster Bs are the ones where you're going to find the abusers. That's where you're going to find the narcissists, the borderlines, the histrionics, etc. But not all. Like I said, if you got traits of, they're not necessarily, because again, with the borderlines, you're going to have the quiet types. You're going to have the ones that are going to hurt themselves before they hurt anybody else. The quiet, the hermits, those are not so much the problem. It's when you get to the witches and the queens that you've got the problems. And with the narcissists, they're just abusive all the way around. I mean, it's like once they move out of the traits of and they slide into, middle to malignancy, yeah, they're just fuckers. So, okay. So that's that. Yeah. So no. And then when you get into the cluster C's, those are usually the OCD hoarders. So you got a lot of hoarders in cluster C's, OCD, and avoidant personality disorder, which is if they're not assured success, they're not going to do it because they're terrified. They don't want to mess up. So that's that. Okay. There was a Hoover 3 days after my birthday. Yep. A day after Halloween. Yep. Then 1.5 weeks ago, sending her housekeeper to our house with 12 boxes full of stuff that were left at her house when she moved to independent living. Included was the last Christmas present I gave her, the frames with family photos from her walls, all her CDs, and boxes of expensive home decor. I donated everything except the photos. Yeah, they do things like that. So malignant parents will do that type of thing. And they hoover around holidays because they're lonely. They want entertainment. They're bored. Because think about it, guys, when an abuser latches onto an empath, when they latch onto a normal, healthy, happy person, we are the greatest entertainment they've got because they can sit there and torture us and they sit back and go, ha, ha, you know, that little nasty little laugh that they have. So that's their game. That's their entertainment. And you can always tell when they're bored because it's usually around holidays. It is because everybody else is sick of their shit and they're not willing to put up with it. Okay. They'll fluctuate between punishing and hoovering. Yes, they absolutely do. He got his flying monkeys to stalk me. Yeah, they do that. Oh, flying monkeys. Okay. So flying monkeys in Valentine's Day. This is when you'll get the triangulation of communication as well. This is when they'll go to somebody that is a mutual friend or somebody that you know that knows them, and they'll deliver a message to them. Oh, could you tell them how much I miss them? Can you tell them how much I've changed? Can you tell them how much it's going to be better? And if they would just answer the phone, yeah, don't fall for it. Don't. Because this is just another way to try to get you. You know, it's like you've gone no contact for a reason. And what they're trying to do is instill doubt. They're trying to make you go, oh, shoot, maybe I should unblock them so I can hear what they have to say. No, don't fall for it. If they have met the criteria that I've been talking about for months, weeks, days, years, you know, if they've abused you, if they've kept you up at night, if they have harmed you, if they have isolated you from family and friends, if they've blown through your entire cash bank account, if they have, you know, smeared you to everybody and their dog, if they've tried to harm you by hurting your job, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, why the hell would you want to have contact with them? So this is what they do is they work on that second guessing. It's like, oh, but it sounds so lovely. No, don't fall for it. So if a friend comes to you and says, hey, your ex said blah, 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 you stop them cold. You know, stop. I don't want to hear anything from them. I've gone no contact with them for a reason. And if you wish to stay my friend, you will not relay messages, period. And that is hard for us to do because the other person's going to be probably pissed and, oh, well, because you've got to protect you. You have got to protect your well-being. You've got to be able to tell them to shut the fuck up. You're not listening. You're not interested. I am not going to listen to any relayed messages. And if you want to stay my friend, you will stop doing this. And if you do this again, I'm cutting you out, period. You're going to have to draw boundaries, guys. You're going to have to draw boundaries. And it's hard to do. It really is. It's hard to do because we don't want to offend anybody. We've got that whole codependency thing going on. So this is when I recommend The Disease to Please by Harriet Breaker or Codependent No More by Melanie Beattie or Beyond Codependent No More by Melanie Beattie. All of those are really, really, really good books, okay? Because we cannot worry about offending a flying monkey. We can't worry about it at this point because your well-being, your health, your happiness, your sanity is worth pissing off a flying monkey. It really is. Don't worry about pissing them off. So if somebody tries to triangulate, don't fall for it. Stop them cold. Nope. Nope. Sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt. I don't want to hear what this person has to say. He's using you as a triangulation of communication. I'm not interested. And I'm letting you know right here and now, I will not listen to this. And if you want to stay my friend, you will not do this. And if you do it again, we're done. Period. All right. So there's that. Flying flying monkeys, Sting. I went to my happy place again. You get your power back when you ignore them altogether, gray rock them. Yeah, absolutely. Because how do I explain this? My dad, he was borderline, absolutely, with narcissistic expression. He very much was both, I think. And he would just poke and 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 poke. And the difference between me and my sister was that my sister would always rise to the bait, always. And he loved it. And you could see it on his face. It was like this smug little, like that recognition smile that I talked about, like, gotcha, that kind of thing. And he did that all the time with her. And she never learned to gray rock him. I eventually got to the point where I was like, yeah, and are you done? Yeah. Yeah. And he quit. Why? Because he wasn't getting the reaction he was looking for. He wanted me to get upset and rage and yell and scream so I could be the bad guy. And I wasn't about to give it to him. And so it's the same thing in dealing with a romantic partner. This is my parents. And it's the same thing in dealing with a romantic partner. It's the same thing in dealing with a friend. It's the same thing in dealing with fill in the blank, whoever the abuser is. You give them nothing. You go gray rock. You block them. You let them know that you're not interested. You've moved on. It's not that you're not hanging on their every word. And that's what they want. They want you to be hanging on their every word. No, it doesn't matter. Okay, he waved at you. Nice for him. Have a nice day. In my head, I'm going, fuck you, asshole. You know what I'm saying? It's like you just ignore them. You ignore them. Ignore them, ignore. That is the best punishment you can do to an abuser, because they think that the world and the sun rises and sets on their ass. It doesn't. Let them know that. Yeah, so go gray rock, go no contact. Give them nothing. Give them nothing. All right, I'm getting hoovered constantly because I kicked him out. So you did the discard, okay. And he's hurt, he's butt hurt. So he's still asking if we have a relationship and why I kicked him out. Okay. Explained way too many times. While he's hoovering me, he's contacting others, shaking my head. Okay, so here's the deal. Stop explaining it to him. So they do learned helplessness. They do. But I don't understand. But why did you kick me out? But I don't get it. But I know you've explained this to me, but can you just explain it one more time? So what that is that's a way to keep a fucked up, dysfunctional connection to you. They would rather have a fucked up, dysfunctional connection to you, even if it's just you explaining why you can't stand them and why you kicked them out. That's still a connection. That's still narcissistic supply. They don't care where the attention comes from. They don't care if it's positive or negative, as long as they get attention. That's it. Okay, remember, because you're dealing with a malignant narcissist that is operating on no higher than maybe a 4-year-old, possibly a 6-year-old. I'll give him that much level. So no, stop. If he asks for another explanation, cut him off cold. Cut him off cold. You've already explained. You don't need to keep explaining. Every time you have to keep explaining, you're giving more and more of your power away. Stop it. You don't need to explain. You're done. You've explained it once. You're done. Be done. Be done. Be done being abused. Are you done being abused? That's the question I ask. Are you done being abused? If so, act appropriately. Cut him off. Go no contact. Get rid of all ways that he can contact you. Stop responding. If you've kicked him out, go no contact. If you need to, file a restraining order and move forward with your life. Okay. Is there a look at what you're missing, Hoover? Yes. I discarded my ex, and a couple of months later, he turned up, dressed to the nines, looked ridiculous, and spent the evening crowing about how successful he was. Yeah, Hoover didn't work. He didn't try it again. Yeah, there absolutely is a look at what you're missing thing. And it's kind of like their ego is so hurt that you saw through them and you were done being abused that they wanted to get you back, coming on saying, oh, look at how successful I am. Look at this, look at that, blah, 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 blah. And really all they wanted was to get you back so that they could then turn around and discard you so that it was their decision. It was their decision to do it instead of yours. You took their power away from them. and they're pissed, and they want to make sure that you see how successful they are and how beautiful they are and how this they are and how that they are, and hoping that you're going to be like, oh, I see how successful you are. Let's get back together, so that he can then turn around and dump you. That's basically what it is. So yeah, absolutely, they will do that. Not expecting a Hoover this Valentine's Day. He's too busy prepping for his pretrial conference for the domestic violence charges pending. Committed domestic violence on his son. Oh, honey. Oh, I'm sorry. He told someone that he can't wait for the day I realized what I lost when I left. I didn't leave. He did. Yeah, they will switch it around. B, I lost nothing. C, I'm gaining myself back every single day. So yes. Okay. So this is where the absolutely insane thinking comes in. Abusers will switch it around so that even if you're the one that discarded them, they will tell everybody and their dog that they are the ones that left you. Ego. It's all ego. It's because they have to be right, and they have to be in power, and they have to look good. And in their minds, if you left them and they admitted to that, they feel that they would have to explain why. So it's, yeah, laugh, my love. This is where humor comes in handy. This is where you just kind of got to go, wow, that shit crazy. Hola, ¿cómo estás? You know what I'm saying. So yeah, just laugh at it. All right. He's left some things behind to keep in contact with me. Yes, they do that. They abso-fucking-lutely do. When they move out, they leave stuff, or they put stuff into storage and make sure they have some of your stuff so that you have to contact them to get your stuff out. Exactly. Yeah, that is exactly what they do. He even leaves his dog here when he leaves to work out of state on Mondays, and I told him not to do that. I don't know what to do. It's a small town, and the dog is a big dog. I can't hurt the dog, and he knows it. Well, yeah, no, you don't want to hurt the dog. The dog's innocent. Dog is like a kid. Dog is a pawn in his game. So, okay, in your small town, do they have a dog sitting service? Do they have somebody that can watch the dog? You find somebody else to do the dog sitting, either at his place or someplace else. You do not allow him to use the dog as an excuse to come over to your house. What you want to do is you want to clear out everything that's his, hand it to him, and be done. Be done, be done, be done. Are you done being abused is the question, or are you still enjoying somehow the drama from this? So that's the question you got to ask yourself. It's like, are you done? And what are the steps that you need to take to be done? If there is no dog sitting service, I can guarantee you there is probably a college student or a high school student out there that you could hire, or he could hire, to watch the dog. So that's what you want to do. You want to find somebody, hand them a list. Here you go. I'm not doing this anymore, and change your locks. Absolutely. Okay. Where are we? Hello, Lauren. I hope you're feeling better. Oh, Lauren and I had that flu thing, and she and I both started sounding like Lauren Bacall, I swear to God. Okay. But I'm better now, and I'm hoping she's better now. Even though I left, my narcissist now has his new wife coming after me. Yes. Okay. So they will do that. So what they do is they brainwash the new supply, whether it's a new girlfriend, a new boyfriend, a new wife, a new husband, whatever. They will convince them that you have horns growing out of your head. And of course, in an effort to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Loyal, they go after the target of abuse. Now, sometimes in that situation, you're dealing with a minor narcissist. So you'll have a grandiose one, and the one going after the target of abuse is a minor narcissist. So there's a lot of stuff that could possibly be going on. But yeah, they do that. They send other people to do their dirty work. Why? Because they're cowards. They're absolute cowards. They will try to get HR to fire you. They will try to get a licensing board to take your license away. They will try to get friends and family to deliver nasty messages. They will try to fill in the blank. That's just what they do. They're cowards. They're absolute cowards. And they know on some level they're wrong. They know it. They absolutely know it. Okay, which is why they're fighting so hard to make sure that everybody knows you're wrong. My narcissist now, okay, new wife coming out of it. Being in custody trial, they both laughed at me on the stand. They both stated how happy they are and tried to use my child as a pawn. He uses my daughter as control over me, but being away from him was the best thing I did, and to finally leave after 8 years of abuse. Absolutely. The beautiful thing, and I'm going to talk more about this next week. I think next week what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the courts a little more, because I had some questions on the court system. And I know that several people have contacted me letting me know that they're going up against their narcissist or their abuser in a custody case, or, they're going to the court and having to, file an order of protection or whatever. So I want to talk more about how to do that, how to deal with the court system, how to maintain your composure when you're having to face your abuser in court, because they will use the wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, new husband, whatever, and they will behave in ways to try to just stick it to you while they're on the stand. Absolutely. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, gray rock. Scribble, scribble, scribble. You stay gray rock. You give them nothing. And at least in Arizona, some of the judges are starting to catch on, and they're really having very little patience for this bullshit. So when the more histrionic the abuser gets and the calmer the target of abuse gets, guess which one is going to look crazy? It's not going to be the target of abuse. It's going to be the abuser. So there you go. We're going to talk more about that next week. That's going to be next week's topic, is going to be the courts, dealing with the courts, dealing with more on dealing with orders of protection, also dealing with family and friends that don't get it, because a lot of courts don't get it. A lot of lawyers don't get it. Obviously, a lot of fucking therapists don't get it. So I want to talk more about how to educate people, how to deal with these things, how to work with people that don't get it, basically. All right. I wonder, why do they want our ability to love when they view that as a weakness? Well, okay, remember, you're dealing with somebody who's crazy. You're dealing with somebody who's got diametrically opposing views. It's like, I love you, I hate you. I love you, I hate you. I love you, I hate you. I love you, don't leave me. That doesn't even make sense, really, when you think about it. It's like, well, if you love the person, you're not going to hate them, and you really aren't going to do anything to make them leave. So why are you doing all this stuff? So it's crazy thinking. It's crazy thinking. So yes, they view it as a weakness, which is why they punish us for loving, right? They want it, they fear it, they want it, they fear it, they want it, they fear it, and they're going to punish us for having it and being comfortable with it. Yeah, it's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Totally cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Okay, antisocial, psychopath, sociopath. Yeah, they're crazy. They're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Their thinking is disordered. Their thinking is, and especially if you're dealing with a malignant, either narcissist or borderline, their thinking is very much on the border of psychosis. It's disordered. It's craziness. It's diametrically opposed thoughts. It's diametrically opposed feelings and beliefs, and constant warfare up in the brain. It's insane in the membrane. Yeah, that's what it is. Do the narcs try to love and get better, but they simply can't do it? My mother-in-law is trying to understand and learn to love my partner more. I don't know if she actually is trying or if she tries just pretending. Okay, wrap your head around this concept. Right now in this moment, I am trying to jog. Right now, I'm trying to jog. Notice it's not happening. That's what the word try means. You're either doing it or you're not. And don't make me do my Yoda impersonation, because I will. Oh, fuck, I'll do it anyway. Okay. Do or do not. There is no try. Terrible impersonation. Anyway, the point being is, there is no try. There is no try. You're either doing it or you're not. If somebody says I'm trying. Okay, so it's like that scene in the original Star Wars where they're on Dagobah. Yeah, I'm a nerd. Come on, get over it. They're on Dagobah, and Luke's plane, Starcraft, whatever, is in the swamp. And Yoda is saying, okay, use the Force to lift it up, right? And so Luke is just a whiny ass little bitch, He's just like, I can't. It's too hard. I'm trying. And Yoda finally just gets fed up with him and just, lifts it up and then says, do or do not. There is no try. So basically, it's like, if the person says they're trying, they're not. They're not. Trying means they're not fucking doing it. You're either doing it or you're not. Period. There is no try. And if somebody says, oh, I'm trying to get sober, really? Really? When was the last time you drank? Well, last Sunday. Okay, well then you're not sober, motherfucker. You're not. You're trying. Bullshit. You're not sober. There is or there isn't. It's kind of like being a little pregnant. It doesn't happen. You're either pregnant or you're not. You're either doing it or you're not. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, there is no try. So when somebody says they're trying, they're not. They're not. Because if I was trying to jog, I'd be running out of this room. If I was really jogging, I'd be running out of this room. Right now I'm trying to jog. I'm sitting on my ass. Does that make sense? I hope that does. Okay. Narcs don't love, guys. Narcs don't love. They can fake it. They can fake the emotions. They can fake feelings. They can fake, how do I explain this? It's, if you've ever dealt with a true psychopath, they are able to mimic human emotions. They are able to mimic the things that they think are expected of them. But what you watch for are things like when they're tearing up, but there's no actual tears coming down. Now, some of them can actually make tears come down, for sure, for sure. The less experienced ones can't. And you watch for body language. You watch for micro expressions. You watch for, does this feel authentic, or do I feel like I'm being played? So that's what you watch for. It's like they don't have the empathy that we have, that a normal person has. You don't even have to be a fucking empath. You just have to be a fucking human being with actual emotions. They don't have that ability to respond in a correct way. They just don't. You know, it's not, there's a cog missing or spinning backwards or sideways or whatever. They don't have the emotions that a normal person has. They don't love. They can mimic it to a certain extent. They can love bomb, making us feel that they do. But when the rubber hits the road and you need something emotional from them, they are unable to deliver, period. Okay. I hope that answered that question. Okay, hold on. Hello, Rich. All right, they can be very aggressive in a one-on-one conversation, false accusations, name calling, etc. And then they play victim to others. Yes, they oh God. Yeah, they are absolute chameleons. They will present however it is that will get them the most narcissistic supply in that moment. So if it benefits them to be the victim, they will play the victim. If it benefits them to be aggressive and intimidating, they will be aggressive and intimidating. If it benefits them to be abusive and harmful and screaming at you at 2 o'clock in the morning, they'll do that. Yeah, they do whatever it is they feel they need to get their narcissistic supply. And they play victim to others. Always have conversations recorded if you are in contact or witnesses so they can't triangulate. Okay. So here's the thing. I do not know what the state laws are in other states. I am in Arizona. In the state of Arizona right now, as far as I know, and I'm not a lawyer, and I don't play one on TV, so double check this. So this is what I always tell everybody. It's like, if I tell you something and I'm telling you to double check it, fucking double check it. So in Arizona, as far as I know, you can record a conversation as long as one of the two parties knows that it's being recorded. It doesn't have to be the abuser. It can be the target of abuse. In other states, you cannot, okay? So you want to check your state laws before you start recording stuff. So just be aware of what is allowed and what is not allowed. Yes, now, if you are dealing with an abuser and you have left, okay, and you're having to do kid exchanges, custody exchanges, and I'm going to talk more about this next week, you abso-fucking-lutely want to make sure that there are witnesses. Never be alone with them. Never be someplace isolated. Never be someplace where they can do something. I've seen abusers try to do the recording thing themselves, and they'll try to make it sound like you're violating whatever custody order it is, and they're the ones that are saying, so you're saying you're not going to blah, 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 blah. And you're sitting there going, what are you doing? You never want to say yes or no, okay? Because they'll go back through and edit it, okay, and try to use that as evidence. So we'll talk more about that next week, but absolutely, you definitely want to be aware of the fact that abusers will try to audio tape things, videotape things, trying to make you look bad. Yeah, that's absolutely one of their little games that they play. And be aware of what the state laws are. If the state laws are that you cannot be tape recorded without your permission, then you can go after them. Abso-fucking-lutely. If the state laws are like in Arizona, that you can tape without somebody knowing, then if it makes you feel safer, yeah, do it. But check the state laws first. Make sure they're still doing that, because things change. So, okay, there that is. But do have witnesses, because, yeah, they will try to triangulate and they'll try to lie and all sorts of horrible things. So, my parents are on the smear campaign, run it like something presidential. My mother thinks I am living on the Coast because she heard a seagull in the background last time we spoke. Seagull, GPS signs, who knew it was a thing? Thank God for the discard from Dysfunction Junction. Lord, I don't miss it. Working on finding my joy. Good for you. Okay. When you leave an abusive family, when you leave an abusive parent, when you leave an abusive anything, hold on a second. I got to take a sip of water here. Hang on. It's going to be 80 today. It's freaking hot in here with all the studio lights. Okay. When you leave, you don't want them to know where you live. You just don't. You don't want the abuser to know where you're living. You don't. Because they'll drop by unexpectedly. They'll send stuff. They'll, send flying monkeys. They'll do all sorts of things. They'll do whatever they can do to disrupt your life. So when you move out, you do not want them knowing where you're living. Now, if you are having a custody agreement, then yeah, they kind of need to know where you're living if you're sharing custody of a child. And we'll talk more about how to protect yourself with that next week. But yeah, they'll try to figure out where you're living, and they'll make up all sorts of stories. If they hear stuff in the background, they'll decide that you're living, over a rock club if they hear rock music in the background. They do all sorts of crazy things. But yeah, you do not want, especially if you've left an abusive family, you don't want them to know where you're living. And you want to tell everybody in the family, hey, my address is my business. Please do not share it. And if you do, I'll know who not to be talking to. So that kind of thing. I've been no contact 3 to 4 weeks ago. The X-hole. I like that. That's it. I'm going to use that. The X-hole. The X-hole activated my old Facebook account and contacted my friends. Why would he do this? Why do you think he would do this? It's not for any good purposes, sweetheart. You need to contact Facebook. You need to turn him in. And you need to let all of your friends know that he now has their contact information. Fucking absolutely. So, yeah, they do this because they want to do a smear campaign and they want to know all about you. And so they want to contact your friends and know who you're dating and where you're going and who you're seeing and what are you doing and da-da-da-da-da-da. But most importantly, you want to contact Facebook and let them know that your old Facebook account has been compromised and that your friends list has been compromised. They need to know that. Absolutely. Each and every time somebody tries to get into your Facebook or do something like that, you turn them in. You turn it in. You let Facebook know. You let them know and do the investigation. And then if police action needs to be taken, you take it. So, and if you get a restraining order against this guy and he does something, or girl, and he or she does something like this again, you call the police, you have them arrested. That's a violation of a restraining order. Abso-fucking-lutely. Going to eventually run into her at a large tournament. How do I not let it affect my Zen? You practice. So when somebody is leaving an abusive relationship and we know we're going to run into the ex, you practice. You just practice. You practice in your head. Okay, I'm going to be at this tournament. I'm going to see him or her. Okay, what's my, okay, heart's going. Okay, don't want it to affect my Zen. Okay, okay, it's a little unnerving. It's never going to be comfortable unless you are the Dalai fucking Lama and have been meditating for 100,000 million years. Yeah, you are going to have that initial little amygdala response with the adrenal response of, oh God, there they are. It's just going to happen. But what you do is as soon as you recognize it, you get yourself back under control. You breathe. Yep, they're here. I'm fine. This is my space. These are my boundaries. Here's my list of deal breakers. There we go. Back in Zen. And you practice. So you practice imagining. This is what you do is you imagine. You imagine how it's going to go down. You imagine, what is it going to look like? Where are you going to run into them? Where's the possibilities? And you just run it through so that you get used to it so that when it happens in real life, yeah, you'll have that initial, okay, breathe. It's okay. I'm fine. I'm safe. I'm okay. I have my boundaries. I have my list of deal breakers. This person means nothing to me anymore. I am not going to allow them to take my Zen. It's all good. I'm safe. I'm okay. And if they come up and say hi, civil but distant, gray rock, and get the fuck away from them. Yeah, you don't have to be mean. You don't have to have a scene. You don't have to do anything, but you also do not need to allow them to ruin your day. Don't give them the power and practice it in your head. If you run it through in your head, I can guarantee you, it's just like an actor. It's just like an actor practicing lines. When you're in a play or when you're doing a movie, you run through your lines and you practice in your head and you practice and you practice and you practice and you practice until you really have to do it. And then it comes naturally. Does that make sense? So that's basically what you're going to have to do. Okay. No dog sitting here available. Okay, well then I would find a student. I really would. I would find a student or somebody that you can hire to do dog sitting. There's got to be somebody in that town that wants to earn a little extra money to do dog sitting. Find them. Put an ad in the newspaper, ask around, go to your vet, go to your grocery store, go to, wherever they sell pet products, ask them. It's like, hey, need a dog sitter, know anybody that wants to do it? Find one. Okay, I have a question about projection. When a narcissist twisted reality and says, I threatened him when he threatened me. So when they accuse you of things out of nowhere, how likely are they doing it? Extremely. Extremely. Projections do not just happen on a whim. Projections do not just happen out of nowhere, okay? A narcissist projects because it's an ego defense, okay? They are doing something that is damaging to their ego, that is damaging to their view of who they are, okay? So they project onto the target of abuse the very thing that they themselves are doing so that they can release that guilt or whatever they're feeling, or that shame or whatever, onto the target of abuse. So it's all the target of abuse and they don't have to take a look at it. Do you see where I'm going with that? So narcissists are unable to be introspective. So healthy, normal people examine their navels. That's what my dad always called it. Oh, the damn hippies are examining their navels. Well, they're meditating. So people who are healthy are able to turn inwards and go, what am I doing? What's my part in this? How can I change this? What do I need to be doing? Not what are other people doing and it's them. Okay, so narcissists can't look inside. They can't take personal responsibility. They don't take personal responsibility. They don't ever sit there and go, yo, my bad, clean up on aisle 5. They don't. They never take personal responsibility. So rather than have to take personal responsibility, they will ego defense, vomit it out and put it onto the target of abuse and put all of their stuff onto them. It's like having a whipping boy. So in aristocratic families, they would have a slave that was the whipping boy, that anything that happened, instead of the child of the king or whatever being punished, the slave got beaten, which makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. But that is what a narcissist is doing. They are vomiting up all of their stuff and putting it onto the target of abuse and punishing the target of abuse for the things that they're doing. Crazy? Yeah. Fucking A, yeah, it's crazy. Doesn't make any sense, but that's what they do. Okay. Yes, they are doing it. If they are accusing you of doing something that you know for a fact you are not doing, and they're accusing you of it, they're doing it. Abso-fucking-lutely. This does not happen in a vacuum. It doesn't. Absolutely. Do you have an RSPCA that may be able to help you? Yeah, you could also, Leanne, check the shelters, check any of the organizations that help with animals, and ask them if they have a dog sitter. Hi, Chris. Any tips on dealing with a Jabba the Hutt of a narcissist at work? Bubba, can you give me some more information on that? Narcissists at work do a couple of things. They either do the making your life miserable, and they've targeted you as the scapegoat, and they'll bully you, intimidate you, put you down, make you look bad, steal your ideas, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Or they're the boss that is demanding and wants your fawning approval of them 24/7 and wants you to listen to every idea that they have so that you don't get your own work done. I need more information. Tell me what you mean about Jabba the Hutt at work. So you can either type it here and I'll eventually get to it, or IM me on Facebook. So if you go to We Need to Talk with Chris Godinez here on Facebook, you can message me and I'll get it, private message. Please remember that this is all public, guys. So if an abuser wants to watch this, they're going to see that you're talking. So just to let you know. But if you want to private message me a question, you can always IM me here. You can IM me on, AHA Counseling. That's my private practice page. Or I have the Chris Godinez LPC public speaker page, which will have all my events that are coming up and things like that. You can also IM me there. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, you can not instant message. You can message me on YouTube privately as well. So, but Bubba, I need more information as to what's going on to give you a better direction and to go. Lauren, you're feeling 100% better. Yay. I love you. I think you're awesome. So for those of you who don't know Lauren Archibek, she does NLP. So it is neuro-linguistic programming. I find that when I get clients that are just stuck, because there is no such thing as stuck, you're either moving forward or you're moving backwards, that when I can no longer help them, I send them to her to get them unstuck. So because she works mostly on unconscious stuff, and she is amazeballs. So I love her. She is with the Growth Company. She is a life coach. She does NLP. She's amazing. I love, love, love her. And she also works with Jess Manny, who's been on my show also, who is my personal trainer, my workout trainer, nutritionist. And they're just like a little power team. So it's just awesome. Okay. My mom actually told me about your page, and I've been watching your videos. Thank you for helping me and other women to build the courage we need to help ourselves. You are very, very welcome. That's why I do this, guys. That's why I do this. Dude, Chris is so much better than football. Oh, today's Super Bowl, isn't it? Oh, shit. Yeah, no, I didn't care for either of the teams. So, like I care, like I'm listening. Wonderful Yoda impersonation. You're lying to me, but thank you. Trying to erase him from my mind. Ugh. Still think about the illusion he created. It's so hard. Yes, guys. Yes. So, and especially with Valentine's Day coming up, our little brains, because they're kind of wired that way, we like to go taking trips down memory lane. And this is going to be a hard concept for you to wrap your heads around. And every single time I tell a target of abuse this, they look at me like I'm growing 6 heads out of my shoulders. The person you fell in love with, bear with me, was you. They mirrored back to you who you are. That's why you fell in love with them, because you're great. You're awesome. You've got great self-esteem. You're a good person. You've got a moral compass. You feel, you love deeply, etc. They mirrored back to you all of the qualities that you have. They don't have them themselves. So they mirrored back to you what you have. You fell in love with you. And now I'd like you to really fall in love with you. So I'd love you to start working on self-esteem. I want you to get the Self-Esteem Workbook by Schiraldi, Glenn Schiraldi. Get it, work it, live it, love it. Do it, because that way you know who you really are. Read The Disease to Please by Harriet Breaker so that you have the word no strongly in your head. It is your friend. Work on that codependency issue. Get your list of deal breakers together. What will you not put up with in a relationship? Abso-freaking-lutely. So, yeah, you fell in love with yourself. They mirrored you. They mirror us. That's what they do. That's the love bombing, is they mirror back to us who we are. So you fell in love with yourself, and that's a really hard concept to get. So I want you to start really loving yourself truly. Let go of the illusion. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Don't make me sing. You're going to have to let it go. Write him a goodbye letter. Dear ex, fuck the fuck out of fucking fuck you. Here was what you did. Boy, you mirrored my sense of humor. You mirrored my love. You mirrored my this. You mirrored my that. It wasn't really you. You're an illusion. Goodbye. Get out of my head. Here's the bad. You started treating me like shit. You called me names. You discarded me. You did this. You cheated on me. You lied. You blah, 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 gaslighted, whatever. The good, the bad, the ugly, the horrific. At the very, very end, goodbye. Evict them. Evict them out of your head. I'm sorry, I'm raising the rent. You can't stay here anymore. I am evicting you. I am exorcising you. The power of Christ compels you. Get out of my head. Do whatever you need to do, but get them out. Get them out. They don't need to live there anymore. Seriously, get them out. Get them out. And then say goodbye, burn it. Burn it. You can read it out loud once if you want, or you can just burn it. Or you can take it into your therapist and work it through, Let it go. Let them go. It was an illusion and you fell in love with you. So let's really fall in love with you. I think that would be great. Start working on your self-esteem. Okay. Where are we? Last contact, he wanted medical history from his old doctors. He has since moved back to his country of origin. He says the doctors there think he has cancer. My immediate response was, I'm being played. But if I'm wrong, oh shit. Thank you. Okay, so here's the thing. They do. They will pretend to have cancer. They'll pretend to have some terminal disease or very serious chronic disease or some very, whatever, in an effort to hoover. So that's called the medical hoover. Yeah, there's different terminology. Isn't that crazy? It's the same all the way around the world. Oh my God. So yeah, they'll pretend to have cancer. They'll pretend to be dying. They'll pretend to have financial crisis. They'll pretend to have seen the light. They'll have a come to Jesus meeting. I found God. I know what I did wrong, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, they'll do anything to try to hoover you back in. Don't fall for it. If you feel like you're getting played, trust your gut. If he has cancer or she has cancer, good luck. God bless. I'm sorry you've got cancer. I hope you get better. Not my problem. I know that sounds cold. I know that sounds horrible. I know that sounds awful. But they probably don't have cancer. 9 times out of 10, they don't. They really, really don't. But they do that to get attention, and they do that to do the hoover. It's a medical hoover is what it's called. Okay. My ex new supply started sounding just like him. I blocked her too. Yeah, absolutely. Crazy how you are not allowed to record Land of the Free, not. Well, and I can understand that too, because if you're dealing with somebody who's crazy and they're manipulating it, yeah, I can understand why you wouldn't want that. But also it's because you also don't want agencies, to be able to record. You need to know that you're being recorded kind of thing. So yeah, it's a thing. When narc finds new supply, does the hoover and punishment lighten up? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. It depends on if the new supply is meeting all of the narcissist's needs, and that sometimes it doesn't, and they continue to hoover the previous supply because maybe the sex is not that great with the new supply, or maybe they're not fawning over them the way you did, or maybe they're not spending as much time with them as you did. So it can depend. And then you've got some narcs who it doesn't matter what the new supply is doing. They could be doing everything you were doing, and they just want a harem. Or I don't know what the male version of a harem is. Is that still a harem? That's a good question. So they just want the group of people, the groupies, to be, their supply, and it doesn't matter. So that's that. X-hole files. That's great. The X-hole files. That's a good one. Oh my God, Margaret, thank you for the chuckle. Mirror work for maintaining coolness works. Yes, it does. Because if you practice in the mirror, when you're going to see your narc, you're going to see your abuser, it's a really good idea to get in front of a mirror and get a grip on your facial expression. So Brent Bryson is a dear friend of mine. He's an attorney here in town. I send my clients to him when they have to do a custody battle or a high conflict divorce, because he's a really goddamn good attorney. And he gets it, because if he didn't, I would break my foot off in his ass. So one time we had to do a court case, and I was in a car accident, and we had to go up against this absolute douchebag of an attorney. And the other attorney was just trying to get to me and trying to get to me and trying to get to me. And I'm sitting there taking notes, but apparently my face was like, you're an asshole. It's like you could tell. And so he leans over and he's like, poker face. I'm just like, I'm not good at that. So yeah, then the next time we had to go up against him, I had practiced in the mirror my gray rock poker face. So yeah, it was pretty funny. We won, by the way. So okay. If I am understanding correctly, it is less dangerous to do to let the narc dump you rather than to dump him or her to avoid the narc's obsessive stalking behaviors. Yes and no. Yes and no. I mean, I can't. It depends on how crazy they are, to be perfectly honest. And quite frankly, I wouldn't want to have to wait around for them to dump you, because if they are enjoying torturing you, they won't dump you. So, what is it more dangerous? Yes and no. I mean, yeah, you're the one leaving them, and if they're crazy, like really, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, they'll start stalking and doing all of that shit. But if they're torturing you, if they're abusing you, get the fuck out. Don't wait. Don't be like, oh, I'm going to play it safe. I posted a great video. I'm pretty sure I posted it on We Need to Talk. And it was a cartoon about the brain trying to keep us safe and doing the whole what if thing. If you can find it on my, We Need to Talk thing, it's a video. It's exactly what you're talking about. It's like, well, what if? Oh, what if? Trying to weigh the safer option. Really, when you're dealing with abuse, there is no safe option. You either stay in the abuse and continue to be abused, which is damaging, or you get out and risk them stalking you, which is scary. There is no good option in this, but getting out is always the best option. Always, because then you have a chance to get away from them. You have a chance to grow. You have a great chance to repair. You have a chance to heal. You have a chance to be safer. And, eventually they'll give up because they'll either be arrested because they keep violating the order of protection, or, they'll find a new supply and leave you alone, at least for a little while. So, okay. Next week, please let everyone know that they can file a grievance against a lawyer if they are breaking the law for the narcissist. Yes, abso-freaking-lutely. You can also file a complaint against the judge if they sign orders that violates your rights. We have a constitutional right to a ruling based on truth. Yes, absolutely, Carlita. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's very true. And people don't know that. People also don't know that you can file complaints against, police officers if you need to. You can file complaints against doctors. You can file complaints against therapists. You can file a complaint against basically anybody, and it will be investigated. And if it's valid, they'll do something about it. If it's not, they'll toss it. And then, that's when you are probably dealing with somebody who's trying to ruin your career. And that's when you file a restraining order against them. But yeah, you can absolutely, if you feel the judge is violating your rights, yeah, absolutely file a complaint. Ask for, or, another situation I came across was, the narcissist was friends with the judge, and the judge didn't recuse himself, and the other plaintiff, the target of abuse, didn't know enough to know that you could file a complaint on that. Absolutely. If there is any sort of social connection whatsoever to the judge, you don't want them hearing your case. They can say that they'll be impartial and unbiased, but I'm calling bullshit. So yeah, absolutely. Ask them to be recused. Absolutely. It's the subconscious telling you what's going on in projection. Yeah, absolutely. Narcissists are stupid, quite frankly. They cannot maintain the mask for very long, and they telegraph exactly what they're going to do. They do. They either triangulate with somebody else and say, I'm going to stalk this person. I'm going to create false personas. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Or they project onto the target of abuse and tell them exactly what they're doing. Well, you're cheating. No, they're cheating. Well, you're planning on leaving me. No, they're planning on leaving you. Well, you're whatever it is, fill in the blank. It's what they're doing. It's like they can't hold it in. They just can't, because they're so disconnected from who they really are. It comes out. And that's God's gift to us, if you want my personal opinion. It's like they let us know exactly what they're going to do. So can't wait for next week. 10 years family court. Oh, $1 million custody battle. He never stopped until he turned my daughter against me. Severe case of parental alienation. He turned all family and friends against me. The last 16 years have been hell. Yeah, that's what they do. That's abso-freaking-lutely what they do. The only thing you can hope for is that when the child becomes an adult, that you can convince them to go to counseling with you, because in that way the ex has no say because they're an adult, and hopefully repair the relationship. And sometimes kids get it and sometimes they don't. And that's the sucky thing. So yeah, I'm going to talk more about that. Okay. Hello, Alexa. Please recommend Divorce Core, documentary about family court. Okay, cool. I don't know what that is. I have not seen that yet. Anyone in the UK can use this link to find therapy. Just type in your location and what it is you need, and a therapist, and options pop up, pricing, so on. Yeah, no, Lucy, that's great. Thank you. That's in the UK. So Lucy Francis has posted a link on how to find therapists in the UK. That's great. Which is www.rscpp.co.uk/search/ postcode equals London. So there it is. All right. They are like aliens, so X-hole is about right. Yeah. Soon-to-be ex-husband has just told me today that his new supply is just okay, I suppose. And then he was extra nice to me, like we were still together. What does this mean? It means he's not getting his needs met. It means his supply is not all that in a bag of chips. That's what it means. It means that he's not getting what he thought he was going to be getting in his new supply. That's what that's about. Freedom is priceless then, right? Yes, it is. I don't expect my ex to hoover. I think he thinks he's pulling the silent treatment on me because I had him removed from the home for domestic violence. He pulled silent treatment for 30 years because I broke up with him when he was 19. He'll be dead by the time the next 30 years comes around. Yeah. So the other thing that abusers do is the thing called the stonewalling, silent treatment. So it's the flip side of hoovering. It's the same coin. It's the flip side. So hold on a second. Sorry, voice. Meh. Hang on. Okay, so stonewalling is the flip side of hoovering. It's the same coin, it's the flip side. What it is it's intended to create discomfort in the target of abuse. So now this is different from drawing a boundary and saying, okay, you and I are not working out. I am unwilling to continue this relationship unless you're willing to go to therapy with me. If you're willing to go to therapy with me, then I'm willing to go with you and work on the relationship. And then the other partner says, fuck you, no, I'm not going. And that's when you go, okay, we're done. I'm not doing this anymore. Sorry. That's not stonewalling. That's drawing a boundary. Stonewalling is when the narcissist does not get their way. They're not asking about going to therapy. They're not asking you to come work on it with them. They're not doing anything like that. They're punishing you for not doing what they wanted you to do. So it's the cold shoulder treatment is what it is. It's, well, I'm going to pout and I'm not going to speak to you and I'm going to show you and I'm not going to give you the time of day, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to give you the cold shoulder. And they do this because they know we care. They do this because they know we love them. They do this because they know that not being in touch with our favorite drug is painful. And so what they hope to do by stonewalling, by not speaking to you, by, making sure that you're bad and wrong and that they're giving you the cold shoulder, is they're hoping to force you back into a relationship. And they're hoping to force you to come back to them and be like, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Please take me back. Please, please, I can't stand it anymore. I want to talk to you. Da, da, da. That's what they're looking for. That's what they're looking for. That's narcissistic supply. Now that is different than a couple or friends where one has said, hey, there's a problem. We need to go to counseling. The other friend says, fuck you, no, I'm not going to go. And then the other friend goes, okay, well, good luck with your life. I'm unwilling to be in a relationship with you unless and until we can go work this out in front of a counselor. That's not stonewalling. So there's a difference. All right, so there's that. So stonewalling is the flip side of hoovering because it's a painful way to try to force the person to talk to the narcissist or the abuser. My dark triad ex actually could write in ink on the calendar, my name is Lair, his spelling, thief, cheater, abuser. I just shook my head and left. Yeah, they're crazy. Do they almost have a sixth sense that you're moving on? Yes, they do. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And that's when they hoover. Yeah, absolutely. They know it. They really, truly do. They are very, very adept at reading people. They're very, very adept at reading situations. Psychopaths are very, very adept at reading facial expressions and body language and things like that so that they can stay one step ahead of their prey. It is almost like they have a sixth sense as to when we have healed or are on the way to healing. And that's when they jump in and go, oh, baby, I miss you. Oh, I've changed. Things will get better. I promise, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Why do they spend the whole relationship threatening to discard you only to try to hoover you back when you seem to finally be doing well on your own? It's an ego thing. It's an ego thing. It's all about the win. It's all about power and control. They want to feel like they are in power and have control. That's what this whole thing is about. So, I'm going to get rid of you. I'm going to get rid of you. I'm going to get rid of you. Oh, please don't get rid of me. I love you so much. Please don't get rid of me. It's a power thing. And then when you finally get fed up and finally go, you know what? I'm done being abused. Fuck this shit. I am done being abused. Okay. And then you leave and now they want you back desperately again so they can discard you because you did the discarding. It's all about the ego. It's all about the ego. And especially if you're doing well, how dare you? How How dare you do well? How dare you move on? How dare you live without me? How dare you? How dare you? How dare you? It's an ego thing for them. What they want is they want their target of abuse to shrivel up and die. They want them to not be able to function without them. They want them to come crawling back to them and say, you're right, I need you. No. They want you to fail. They want you to fail because they think that they're the reason for your success. And when you show them that you are successful without them, hello, reality. Hello. Yeah. Then they have to deal with some stuff they don't want to deal with. That's why they're doing that. All right. Please, one day, would you do a talk on the stages of grief after leaving abuse? Yes, I definitely will do that. That's probably going to be a one-off one that I'll do like in the middle of the week. So I don't know if you guys know this, but when I get enough questions coming in, like, you know, particularly if I see one like that I'm like, oh yeah, that would be a good one. I write them down after the show. And then when I get enough questions that come in on either the private messaging or on that I see being listed on the comments or on YouTube or whatever, I wait until I get a whole list of that, and then I'll do a one-off show, and I'll try to answer all of these questions and do stuff on, you know, grieving and things like that. Okay, so where was I? Finishing this up. That's what I was doing. Okay, so the Hoover can happen anytime. It can happen hours, days, weeks, months, years, decades after you leave them. Okay, if you're the one that left them, they're probably going to be stalking, and it's going to happen sooner rather than later. If they're the one who left you, it will happen when their supply runs out, or if their supply is not giving them what they thought they were going to get, or they're just, you know, so insane that they want a whole harem of people, a whole bunch of groupies to be, you know, giving them narcissistic supply. So be prepared. It's a matter of when, not if. When, not if. The flip side of the Hoover is the stonewalling. And it's the same thing. They're cutting off all contact in an effort to force you back into whatever behavior they wanted you to be doing, and to make you come crawling back to them. You know, please take me back. I can't stand the silence, blah, 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 blah. So flip side, it's a flip side. Now, again, that is different from an issue where people have said, hey, come to therapy. The other person says, no, I'm not going to do it. Fuck you. And then, you know, the person goes, okay, peace out. I'm done. I'm not having a relationship unless and until we get into a therapist and we work through this stuff. So, you know, if the person, you know, comes back in and says, okay, you're right, let's go see a therapist, then it's a completely different issue. Does that make sense? That's not a begging to come back. That's not a nothing. That's getting a third party and working on the issues in the relationship. Okay. Hoovering, Valentine's Day. So Valentine's Day Hoover is going to happen hard between now and Valentine's Day, and maybe a couple of days afterwards. They're going to play on your sense of guilt. They're going to play on your sense of walking down memory lane. What you want to do is you want to write out every rotten thing that person has ever done to you. You want to really cement in your head, why am I not in a relationship with this abuser? Why did I leave? And put it somewhere where you can see it. If you have not blocked them on all social media, block them. If you have not blocked them on your phone, block them. If you have not blocked them anywhere, block them. With a side of block them and an extra helping of block them. Do not respond to triangulation of communication. If a friend comes and says, hey, your ex said, you stop them cold. I'm sorry, stop right there. I'm not interested in hearing what my ex has to say. That's a flying monkey move. Please do not relay messages from him to me. I do not care, and I do not want to hear them. If you wish to be my friend and you wish to continue being my friend, you will not do that again. Period. Boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. Okay, I think that covers that. Whoa, there's more questions. Oh my God, hang on. So ashamed that I did that thing. Please talk to me. I can't stand not talking. It was a dysfunctional dance. Yeah, and they're counting on it. They're absolutely counting on that. Okay, I've been through both stonewalling and hoovering. It really messes with your mind. It absolutely does. It's a mind fuck. It absolutely is. And it's an intentional mind fuck. They do it on purpose. Okay, guys, my voice is starting to go again. So next week on We Need to Talk, I will be discussing the court system. I'm going to be discussing how to help family and friends and lawyers and judges and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, understand what the fuck. We're going to be talking about how to not respond while you're dealing with a court issue, while you're being deposed, while you're being whatever. dealing with police officers, et cetera, especially if they've called a police officer in and made a false report, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We're going to talk about that. I want to remind you, I have a book signing coming up for my book, my new book. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him cha-cha. Why some people stay in abuse and some people don't. It is at Changing Hands Bookstore on March 23rd at 7 p.m. I will be doing a 45-minute lecture, maybe a half-hour lecture, and then I'm just going to take questions. I just want to answer everybody's questions. So come see me in Tempe, March 23rd at Changing Hands Bookstore, which is a Friday at 7 p.m. It goes from 7 to 8:30. Cannot think of anything else. I will be doing a book signing also in Yuma in May. I'm going to be doing a book signing in April in Atlanta, and then I'm going to be getting the rest of my tour up and running, and I will let you know as soon as I figure that the fuck out. So, okay, guys, go have a wonderful, wonderful day. Get your questions together, send them to me, and I'll if I get enough questions, I'll do another one-off thing during the week when I'm free. And I think that's it. All right, guys, have a great week, and I will talk to you later. Bye.